All right, folks, time to get back on the Buick. This is the one we looked at, we diagnosed. I showed you the estimate on it. It's also due for state inspection. We've got the wheel bearing, we've got the side out detection module, and I also have the harness, unable to obtain a connector. So we've got this whole harness, which my dealer tells me this is the wrong harness for the vehicle. So I'm a little concerned about that. I looked it up on the repair link that we use for ordering parts. This is the one it shows. It does plug into this, but perhaps there's something else wrong about it. So we may be delayed here a little bit. I'm going to pull the head, we're going to get it on the lift, and then see what we have to do. So there's really no way to tell if we have the right harness, short of taking the bumper cover off. I looked behind there and I don't see any tags on the harness that we can see. So we need to figure out how to take this bumper cover off. I know we're gonna have to remove the wheels. We have to do this bearing anyway. So I'm gonna peel the back wheels off, look in service data, see what it takes to get this off. Looks like probably this, this trim here will have to come off. So hopefully we can do it without casualties. We'll see. Not a big body guy. Oh, drop that right on the floor. So we're gonna peel, let's see, there's 4 screws there, and I think there's one down here on the bottom. Yes, sir. I don't know if we need to take out the whole wheel liner. We probably will. There's only a few more bolts. Let's just get this whole thing out of our way. Alright, there's that. So there's what? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 screws, and it looks like a couple plastic retainers. And then this little guy should come out of here. Let me go get something to remove these retainers. When I was talking to my GM dealer and I looked up the wiring harness there, in the diagram that shows the object detection module, it shows that, and then it shows the harness, so that's why I picked the numbers that I picked. On his screen, it said the same thing as mine. It says for detailed view, see rear bumper fascia. So when I clicked on that, because that's what I did, it was like item 7. It did show another rear harness that was a different part number. So I don't know. We may get this apart and find out that he's right and I'm wrong. Which would be nice, because the harness that he showed, or that other harness that was there, 13 screws, folks. It was like $50 cheaper for whatever reason, but we'll see. Now we need to do the same thing on the other side, but I wanted to see what held this on. Okay, so it has metal clips up through here. These are plastic down through here. Maybe if I get a pick, I can release the plastic ones back here, then show you. There's one. So I'll show you as soon as I get this off. They're pretty self-explanatory when you're looking back here. Okay, so there's those 3. We really don't need to take off any more than that. These ones are all metal clips, so these here we can technically just pull out. Okay, so a couple of them stayed up in the body, but down here on the front, these 3 are these plastic ones here. I don't know if you can see them here, but all I did is reach up there with a pick, push that tab down, that tab, push them down, and then you're gonna have these metal retainers here, which looks like most of them stuck in the body. Not a big deal. Hopefully, if you guys are still in frame, we can push these out we'll probably have to get a pair of needle nose, give these a squeeze, and then all they do, you've probably seen them before. Is there one of them saw in here? Yeah. So they're like this. They have the little teeth. Kind of a one-way deal. They lock on. You push them onto these plastic tabs. I call them viper fangs. They got little fangs that, you know, latch into the plastic, and oftentimes they do this, which you can just shove the plastic back in. They do kind of wiggle around to self-align, but we'll get them and stick them back on here because that's easier. So let me go do the same thing on the other side. This is the screw we're after here. Looks like maybe a 7 mil. We'll get a socket for that and peel that off. And then I think we need to take the tail lights out probably. I think there's some clips from underneath, and this whole bumper cover will come off. And that's what those things look like. Underneath it here, there's a clip here by the right exhaust, or by the left exhaust, and there's also one by the right exhaust. I'm just gonna pull both of these fasteners out of here, just your standard plastic retainer. So I'm gonna pull the one out of the left side too. Got the wheel liner out of the other side. We're gonna open up these caps right here. I don't think that we need to take the tail light out. I could be wrong. I don't think we do. I grabbed us a 7 mil for these. So we'll get these two, and then while I've got the 7 mil on, I'm gonna grab this one at the front of the bumper cover. It should be the same thing, so it's that one there. Oops, dropped our Torx bit. We'll go back to our T20 because I believe this bolt has to go. Yes, sir. It's going anyways. So there's that. Come on there, little fella. So there's a little plastic washer on that one and a T20. There we go. So there's that. Okay, yeah, it pops right out from underneath the tail light here. Let me crack the other side loose, and we'll go get the very lovely Mrs. O and see if we can do this. We're gonna pull this bumper cover off. You just need to be my support.
That's what I do.
Support me, Mrs. O. I don't know how it comes off. We're gonna give it a little try here. Oh, comes off just like that. Just a minute. Here. Switch spots with me. Got her. Got her. Okie dokie, I got her now. We appreciate you, Mrs. O.
You're welcome.
We appreciate you. Now I gotta find some place to put this thing. We'll give it the old classic spin around. All right, here we go. Just see for poop and laughter if we're right in this. Okay, so we're right in that direction. It will plug in. I'm not going to click it in. Let's go look at our harness. Let's match up some wire colors. This one does have a tag with GM rear fascia. Not much useful information on it, but let's just see. Let's just compare. Oh, flip this baby over. We're good on that side. And we're good on that side. So wire colors match. So now I'm gonna take the tape off it. We still could be wrong. But I did look at it. I mean, we should have just the 4 backup sensors and the 2 blind spot monitors. So if we start down here, we've got this one, we've got our backup sensor, which that looks right. Comes across with another backup sensor, another one, and then for that module over there. I think we're gonna be okay, folks. Let's just do it, let's get after it. If we're wrong, we're wrong. But if we're right, we'll tell them we told you so. We won't do that. We'll just be happy we don't have to wait another day on parts. So I'm going to dig these red locks out. Probably going to end up using pliers. Well, there's one. I'm gonna dig them all out, and then I'll show you how we're gonna fish this through here. I clipped it off. It's pretty self-explanatory. Remember, we're changing this because I had that green crusty. The green crusties. They like to take residence in New York. And then now we're gonna kind of put this back around about where it was here. Start threading it along from this side. I'm not going to push the Christmas tree fasteners in all the way until I make sure we're good with them. So connector, 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 connector. So there seems to be a discrepancy here in this harness. That one's going to go here. That's going to plug in there. This plugs into our bumper cover. What I'm seeing is the spacing on the push nails here. These two are correct. That one will go there. This one will go here. This one is correct, but this one is off, which I don't think is a make or break it deal. Let's make sure that these plug in to the backup sensors. And they do. This should plug in here. And it does. So kind of interesting, it seems to be just that the zip tie locations here are off. They almost line up. And I don't know if that's a thing. I'm gonna just take and move them. Let's get our new module. Hopefully you guys can see. I don't know how much value it is anyways. But here's our new module. Now we do need to program it, but we'll plug it in, and then we'll slip it down inside the bumper cover. Should have left it unplugged. Plug that in. I'm going to get us a small pick. I'm going to release the zip tie here because we can. There's plenty enough on there. We'll just move it over and stick them in the appropriate holes. Seems like that's the right thing to do. Other than that, everything lines up and clicks in. There you have it, folks. We'll stick this connector over here, but you can see, I just ended up moving all of the wire ties there where they click in down here and here. Other than that, it fit just right. Wire colors and everything are the same. And then up and around town, plugged into there. So, not sure what of course, we're not out of the water yet. We don't have it in and working, so hopefully we're still right. I'm going to take and plug this in. The plug-in up on the vehicle is one that's stationary as far as retaining the wire, so that's plugged in. Tell you what, I'm going to put a couple screws in here lightly just to hold it. Mrs. O is busy. Let's get a couple of the screws we took out, wrong size socket. We'll put them in just so this thing doesn't hit the floor on us, where we kind of manipulate it around here. And before we put it all together, we're going to make sure that that blind spot monitor can program, that the backup sensors work, and then we'll put it all together.
there.
Hey, how we doing?
Pretty good, are you?
Good. Alright, so everything lined up. Fit back good. Just got that one screw in there, but just had to hold it while I kind of line these clips up and then push it in. It kind of, it self-aligns and snaps together, so piece of cake. Yeah, I see your gasket here is kind of all wonky. Maybe we can fix that for you. Feels like it's been like that for a while. Must be something snagged it, and then we'll see if we can't kind of get that a little better for her. We're going to use the MDI-2 by General Motors, or by Bosch rather, and then we're going to use GMSPS to program it. We're going to select side object sensing module left. These usually program pretty quickly on these. Vehicle options, it's going to want to know if it's with or without side object detection. Well, duh. So we'll let this go through and program, and then we'll check it for codes. This is just letting us know it's going to use one of our VIN slots that we pay for. And then it will read what software revision is currently on the sensor, and then we'll update it from there. So I'll give this just a minute. And you can see here it pops up as unrecognized calibration. Here's the calibration file that it's going to load on there. So we'll hit start programming. And like I say, usually these zip along pretty fast in comparison to some modules that you do. One telltale sign that it worked is our blind spot monitors here on both the mirrors are now off, so the yellow light's not on there anymore. Back out of here, because we didn't clear the codes when we did the programming, and oftentimes that'll set a ton of codes in different modules. I went through and cleared them out as all kinds of, loss of communication codes and stuff like that. All right, so here we are. Fantastic. We got a bunch of green lights. Everybody's talking. Everybody's happy. We can see that both the left and right side object detection modules are talking, so we should be good. No code stored in the park assist. We're going to make sure that works prior to, buttoning up our bumper cover. So we'll just take and close out of this. We no longer need to use TechLine Connect. So that's it, piece of cake. I just get these cases at the Harbor Freight, and I keep my stuff in there, like my charger, the interface device. I've got my Mongoose cable for doing Toyotas, and then just these laptops. I like the Lenovo's. I just buy little cheapies off the Amazon or like Newegg or somebody. And then, like, for example, this one here I've got set up to do, GM and Toyota. My other one does Ford and Honda and Chrysler. And then I just leave the laptop set up and then just put them in these boxes. And then you can throw them on your shelf and use them when you need them. Now that it's all back together and functioning, we just need to throw it back together by throwing things on the floor. Get your fingers to work here, fella. I thought I already did that one. Put the covers back on. I won't bore you with this whole process because it's basically putting in a bunch of the screws that you took out, you know what I mean? And just making sure they go in the right place. Oh, and I did fix her weather stripping here for free. Throwing that in there. Bonus. We'll leave that like that. We'll do the other side. That's all clicked together. Has, well, 3 of the screws that hold the fender liner in also hold that baby on. 3, 4, 5 of them. Yeah, so you could break all the clips. Who cares? One there and one there. And then a whole mess of screws. That's what you have when you have more than 10. You have a whole mess. Get a couple of these started. Oops, now we're down to 12. Find the one we dropped. Oh, And that one goes underneath. You probably can't see it in your frame, but where the mud flap would go, I think. So tighten that one up. Just go along and get them all. There we go. All we're left with are these two little guys which go underneath. Put one in there. Get this baby started. There. Now that that portion of it is done, I'm going to take care of some tools here. And then we're going to move on, get that wheel bearing knocked out so we can get this car out of here. I'll give it a shakedown, check it out for inspection, see if it's going to need anything. I see the back brakes are getting pretty close. Here in the People's Republic of New York, you cannot fail unless your brake pads on disc brake systems are metal against metal. So the only brakes that have a measurement are drum brakes. So it depends on if they're riveted or if they're a bonded shoe. A riveted shoe, I think I would have to look, is 1/32, where bonded shoes are 2/32. I can't remember, I'd have to look it up. It's not too often we deal with drum brakes anymore, but they're the only ones actually that have a spec on pad thickness. Now, state inspections are weird. You can't fail for loose ball joints, but if you have a half-ton pickup truck with kingpins and they're loose, you can fail for that. You know, because we see a lot of trucks with kingpins. I grabbed this 14. Let's get this caliper out of the way. Have a closer look at these pads. Like I say, it looks like they're getting pretty close. Screwdriver. Close your eyes if you can't handle looking at that. Alright, piston went in, that's good. Yep, pads are definitely getting close. Probably seized up in the bracket is my guess. Pins are moving fine. Let's grab a 21. Get this bracket out of here. We'll at least get her pads knocked loose for her. You can fail for mechanical defects in the brakes. If there's like rust jacking, the pads are coming off. And if you want to be a real a-hole, you can fail for uneven wear. So let's say this has, you know, 4/32 left here and 2 here. That's uneven wear, fail it. But we're not pricks. Just for the record, I cracked those loose. But before you think I've got some super insane air ratchet, I don't. Needless to say though, folks, as we sit here talking about inspections, I would never, ever in a million years show the process, the whole process, simply because you always got these guys at the state, they're just ready to pounce you. They want to take you down as much as they can, especially if you're following the letter of the law. But if you're an outlaw, they really don't care. It's kind of a New York thing, you know. We've got the bail reform, you know, stuff like that. You're good as long as you're doing it wrong and you're a criminal, but if you try to do it right, then you're wrong. I don't know. It gets political. Everything with the state gets messy, you know. So we're just going to try to get through life and not deal with them. We'll take that screw out. Oh, fall off. Time to bring out the little dog. It's Thor, the 401 long barrel from Astro, brand new. Only used a couple times. Let her eat. Come on, man. You know you want to let him go. Let it go. Let it go. Oh, good girl. Look at that. We can look at the parking brake shoes now. That's good. But not really. They're not really good. See what I'm saying? Goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, little shoe. People are like, you a-hole, I can't believe you broke her car. Well, believe it. So at this point, I had to do the ultimate mechanic scumbag move, the call back to the customer with the guess what, you needed more stuff routine. You know how they do it. Of course, this is all unforeseen, folks. You don't know what the condition of the parking brake shoes and stuff are. And those of you that honestly think that I broke that for Rizzo, grow up. It's super rusty, the rust jack. Those things fall apart all the time. Front one's still pretty solid though. The fact of the matter is you get all 4 shoes and you get the hardware and stuff. Of course, we'll get it coming from Napa. Never any parts available. That's what Napa stands for. It's their acronym. So naturally they don't have any. They do have the pads and rotors. But I want to wait to hear from the customer. I called and left the lady a message. Well, we're waiting for that. I'm going to tear apart the other side, make sure the caliper and stuff is good there. That way I can give her a legitimate, quote update, which I'm sure she'll go for because I think we were still thousands under what the dealer was going to charge just to fix the blind spot monitor. So we'll see you guys in part 2. Thanks for watching.